What's good? What's good, chat? I don't know. Let me make sure I'm coming out correctly. Pause, pause, pause. Hold on, hold on. I should be. I should be coming straight. Uh-oh. Hold on. Some of y'all's audio might have messed up just now. That's on me, not y'all. There we go. There we go. There's two people in chat right now. Can y'all let me know if I'm coming out clearly? Oops, my poster, my bootleg poster set up. You hear me? I bet. Um, what's good? You are early. You are early. It's been a while since I've streamed. What's good, JK? Let me read this chat real quick. Um, let me get into this real quick. All right, so I'm assuming that y'all are here. You are here, uh, because you saw my Young Justice video. Um, I you know, that video did way better than expected. What's up, Paradox? Was good return. Oh man, I haven't seen some new people in chat. All right, bet. I'm assuming that y'all are here from my Young Justice video, which did it went outside of the barriers I expected it to go past. I appreciate y'all for watching it. I just want to have a big conversation. You know, the season ending for Young Justice was Thursday. I think that's when the episodes come out, or at least that's when I watched it. I watched it Thursday night. And no, Thursday was yesterday. Maybe I watched it Wednesday. I don't know. But season ended, and there's some things to talk about. So I've been going through. I read every single one of my comments, even on a video like that. Granted, usually videos don't do 13,000 views and over 200 comments, but even for that video, I went through everything. Let me go through what y'all have said so far. JK said, I found this season uneven. The highs were better than 3, but the lows were more boring than 3. I agree. I agree. And that goes back to what I was saying in that video, where I was saying that, like, it just felt like at certain points in this season, which I know a lot of people like this season, and I didn't expect that to happen. Hence why, you know, I dropped the video. But you know, it was good to just go through the comments and see that, you know, people did like the show, and I'm happy because I think I love Young Justice despite what the video may, despite what the thumbnail may say, despite what I may say in the video. I still love Young Justice, whether that be from nostalgia, whether that be me liking where I think it can go, or the potential, or whatever. I still love Young Justice. I'm gonna still watch it, and I still hope it stays on the air. So the fact that people do love this season, like love it, I'm happy. But I didn't expect that many people to really like where season 4 was going, even before this last arc. But I will agree, the lows are definitely lower. That goes back to what I was saying in the video, where I think that at points in the season, we went back to characters and we gave certain characters like 4 or 5 episodes of just being centered on them and their side of the universe, where you had Zatanna, and that was our first time focusing on really the mystics, since the mystics and the magic part of the universe since the whole Doctor Fate shit in like season 2. Let me see. My first thought is Metron is more scary than Darkseid. For real, because Darkseid has sat there and done not shit for 4 seasons. So I'm definitely, Metron actually got up and did something. And then with his researches, with his experiments and everything, I feel like that is much more potentially of a threat than what Darkseid has posed, because he's just kind of sat back and just sent people to do his bidding, granny goodness. This time with the Zod nigga, and he got taken out by Metron. Season 4 just beats you up with woke representation. They can have good scenes like Beast Boy dealing with depression, but give you annoying scenes like with Rocket and her son. That's something else I wanted to talk about, the woke thing, because that was something that I kept seeing in the comments, and I was surprised at how many people were like talking about it. Let me read this up. How was Rocket's son having a case of autism being an example of woke representation? I liked the Rocket arc, but the whole Magic arc was too scattered, and it was too separate from everything that was actually happening in the story. And Rocket is a character that really has never mattered. Now, granted, in this season, she played a really cool part, and putting the core, what was it, core five, together for the whole last arc. It made us reminiscent of season one. That was some of the group. That was most of the group that we started off the story with, and Rocket was there at the start. But when it comes to actually being important, like, your character's never really been important. So even if you're going to do a whole season of basically bringing the band back together to save Connor, and to fix the timeline, and to take down the Zods, and to save the Earth, before, I'm assuming in season 5 they'll just probably be just a full, what's it called, mentor role, similar to parts of season 3. But even if you're gonna do that, you still have to gauge, like, which characters are more important than others. Like, Artemis is more important than Rocket. They shouldn't get the same amount of episodes focused on them. Zatanna isn't as important as Dick Grayson. They shouldn't get the same amount of episodes focusing on them. Even if you do have to set up the magic side, even if you do have to show us Tracy 13, even if you do have to do those things, you don't give those guys 4 episodes, 5 episodes. That's a fourth of the season. That's a fourth or fifth of the season. You can't do that. Even if you're gonna bring the band back together, there are ways to integrate that more. In my opinion, at the very least. Now, I understand. Like I said, they were getting the band back together. This entire season was about the first 6 and then Beast Boy. Because honestly, at this point in the second half of the show, since the show has come back from hiatus, Beast Boy has been the most developed character in this show, which is a blind side to me. I don't know why. And Young Justice is a series that has prided itself on developing characters that, may not be the biggest characters in the comics, or they just create new characters, like Artemis, like Cowder. He really didn't exist in the comics for real. Let me see. It's become really repetitive. Artemis's arc clearly meant nothing to the overall season. It didn't, and it could have, because Wally still isn't coming back, and we still don't have an inkling as to when he is. Even though they could have, like, tied inklings to that, to the Phantom Zone, and exploring the Speed Force, because there are a plethora of dimensions that exist between, like, life and death in DC. You have not Mephisto. Oh my god, why am I thinking of Mephisto's realm? Purgatory, I think, because Purgatory in this universe is different than Hell, which could have been explored more when dealing with when Zatanna came up with Nightwing and everything. Of course, you have the Phantom Zone, you have the Speed Force. So when rescuing Superboy, it could have been inklings, or like drips and pieces, or even between the Legionnaires coming back, because that's the last time that we got an inkling of, like, maybe Wally's alive or whatever. Nevertheless, I'm rambling. At this point, I'm just waiting for Wally to come back. They went an entire season without addressing the fact that Miss Martian and Zatanna mind tricked Artemis into thinking that she got a final goodbye with Wally. They went 26 episodes without mentioning that at all. And it's things like that. Like, I understand people being nostalgic. I understand people saying, okay, they need to set up for the final arc, which I agree. And I haven't mentioned this so far this stream or in the video, because, I dropped the video like 1 episode into the Nightwing arc. The build up for Lord-Zod and the Kryptonians, absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was opposed to it, like, early on. I was like, why are we getting this? Because historically, I'm not too much of a fan of the whole, like, Darkseid and Vandal Savage shit that's been happening over the past few seasons. That's basically the overall antagonist of the show, and I just don't feel like they're active enough antagonists to where I should care about them, because I don't care about them. So that wasn't enough early on to connect me to Lord-Zod and be like, oh, he's a real antagonist. But yeah, that was amazing characterization. The Superman got a lot of characterization and action in season 4. We saw a lot of him. Let me read some more of these. I think it was the marketing, but instead of wait, what? I think that it was the marketing, but instead focused on Beast Boy and Halo. Beast. I want to talk about Halo. I'll go back to the woke thing because I want to. I have a video, or it, you, it, I need to say a fucking sentence. Anyone that has like anything to say about the woke thing about this season, I want you to basically just drop like just what you mean by that, because I've been reading all these comments and people by wokeness, like I think Riley, they got on your ass for it a few minutes ago. Um, the autism, the autism parent story. I generally hate autism slash parent stories because they tend to be patronizing. They can be, and a lot of them do misrepresent like actual autism, or just like overgeneralize actual autism, or like parent relationships or whatever. I think with Rocket, it was all right. It wasn't like the best handled or whatever, but I know a few people watching the show that like didn't really recognize. Well, they recognized that he had autism, but they just kind of found it funny, which is fucked. But I mean, it's not gonna land with everybody. Um, Let me see. Okay, but did the show really give Artemis and Rocket the same amount of episodes? Yeah, they did. Um, that by Rocket episodes, I mean the arc where we were on New Genesis and everything, because a lot of that was centered around Rocket, and then of course the scenes with her kid, the scenes with her talking to her husband, father, I mean not father, baby daddy, something. I don't know what that relationship is. I just know he's the father of the child. If we look at the screen time for both Rocket, it was less relevant. Yeah, she was definitely less relevant in her arc than Artemis was. Um, but looking back at it, even though that was Artemis's arc, there was quite a bit of time, which I don't know if people are happy with or mad about, but there was quite a bit of time dedicated to the Bat family in that arc, which I do like, because I mean it's the Bat family. They make up, like historically, they make up like a third of this team. Um, Let me see. As a mom of a teen with severe autism, I felt her arc covered stages of acceptance without dropping into melodrama. Okay, I feel it. I feel it. Like I said, I feel like it's done alright. It doesn't break the mold or anything, but they also don't spend too much time on it to where they can either go super deep or super mess it up, or overgeneralize. Not fam. So okay, as a person on the spectrum, as Asperger's. Okay, the storyline with Rocket was decent. Okay, I agree. I agree. It's just the fact that, like I said, and I think a lot of people understood this when I said it. They just thought that like the quality of the season was good enough to warrant this. Rocket has never been a relevant enough character to dedicate that much time to. Even if you're gonna split it with New Genesis talk, even if you're gonna split it with Metron, even if you're gonna split it with, and granted, when they were on, I forgot what world they were on when all the Lord Zod stuff started happening. The Green Lantern died, uh, and all that was happening. That was great, and it's not because of the action. It's because of the whole thing with, what's the guy who's the son of Darkseid, but he's New Genesis, and he has anger issues. I forgot his name, but the whole development with him between Rocket, that was great. Um, I just think you need another character that's actually more important to the plot. And by plot, I mean the overarching plot. I mean the plot that's left over from season 3, right? Because even if you want to say, even if you and more more Western cartoons are going towards this, and I'm happy about this. Even though it's like separated in arcs now, still there are continuations within the. I'm sorry, guys. There are continuations within the story. Um, like Halo, the whole thing with Halo, the whole thing with Brion, that was like one episode, right? Um, the episode that shouldn't happen. Um, that's my only thing. I think that most of y'all agree. Well, not most of y'all agree, but most of y'all understand that point that I'm trying to make. One example of woke is suddenly having Polly be the standard for Atlantis as a push now. But if that has been the case in season one, why was Calder jealous? Uh, I agree. I didn't catch the Polly thing when I first saw it, but I've been reading like back, and I did pick that up. A lot of people, when it comes to the Atlantis arc, have been focusing on the Calder being gay part. Um, the Polly, I don't know. I agree with you. Like that should be consistent. Um, I guess in canon reason for him being jealous was the fact that he left to the surface world and had already acclimated to like the love standard. Granted, he grew up in Atlantis, so that still wouldn't make sense. I don't know. That's a plot hole. That's a plot hole. They did Superman good. Season 4, I might have to watch it over again. Felt bored in some parts. Same. Maybe because poly relationship being normal, it doesn't mean everyone. Okay. I did enjoy the Superboy, Miss Martian, and Beast Boy stuff. Yeah, and those three characters have been the most consistent since the comeback. Since the show has come back, those have been the characters to probably receive the most screen time, and they've done good in their screen time. Miss Martian is an original character to the show. Superboy is a character who has a long-standing history in the comics, but I think the show is still handled relatively well. My only problem with Superboy in this season is I thought that like his whole fighting his programming, fighting his super between like the dichotomy and the struggle between the Superman side and his Lex Luthor side, I thought that was already handled. I thought that was already handled, and with him basically coming out with the Xenomorphs and like being the leader of that community, I thought that was really the end of his arc. So going into this last arc, I didn't really see the full need for him to lose himself in the Phantom Zone. But granted, it serviced a bigger thing and like better written characters in my opinion in the Zods, in Lord Zod, and then the rest of the Kryptonians. I think that was an amazing conflict. It was built up throughout the season, and it makes sense. It fits in. Let me see. I thought it was good they gave her more screen time because she's a really cool character. It's not just the story I expected, but nonetheless, it was cool. I'm assuming you're talking about Rocket. And like I said, I understand the reason why they do it. Right, I understand the reason why you give her more screen. The reason why you give her 4 episodes because she's about to be part of something that's bigger than her. I get that. Now that we're introduced to her, now that we've gotten to peer into her world, gotten to learn her powers a little bit, even away from the team, put her through her own little arc. She's cool now. She's a pretty cool character. But it's the fact that, and this is what some people in the comments were saying, were agreeing with me with. Thoughts on the House of Zod potentially being cloned by the Light. The Light, everything the Light does is just like, does it service you really taking over the galaxy, or at least taking over Earth? And I just think that is just holding on to it, them cloning them. That would just be too extra. Unless you're making an army. If you're making an army, then who really cares? At that point, you're just like, okay, we're building up to a war. We need bodies. Clearly, they have the technology between what the new gods have and just everything out and like beyond Earth space. If it's just to weaken the clones and then do an army at the end and then have a big fight, I guess. I don't think that Young Justice is a series that truly needs like a big fight at the end or whatever. But if that's what they're gonna do, sure. I'm gonna get to the ending in a bit though. Like these past like 5 episodes, I want to build up to that. What was I saying? I understand now. Rocket is definitely a really cool character, but it's the fact that you have so many other characters in this show between Eduardo, between addressing the things that have happened in the past, between expanding Brion. Um, again, one episode when Brion is shown in the entire season. He had the biggest twist. We got a Terra setup at the end of last season. I'm not saying that all of these plot points have to be resolved within the next 20 something episodes, but if you're gonna like, what's it called? Chekhov's gun type shit. If you're just gonna introduce an element or a plot line to the story, it must be used. That's really it. Mystery box. If you're gonna set up a mystery, if you're gonna set up something with Terra, you have to follow through within the timely matter. And timely matter means if time passes in the show, time passes for the characters. There's no reason why this much time. I'm assuming that this past season took place over like maybe 6 months, 5 months, because they kept referring to it being months since they thought that the girl in Superboy died. So I'm assuming it took place over like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. If that much time is passing and nothing happens with Terra, what are we doing? If that much time is passing and no one connects the dots of like there being worlds in between life and death, and for that reason, and including the Legionnaires, Wally potentially being alive, that's bad. That's bad. Time is passing and nothing's happening with like half the plot lines that you have outstanding. Like, you have a superhero that's now the king of an entire country that was highly publicized to go against the wishes of American superheroes. What's the ramifications of that? Let me read some of these comments because y'all are talking. The light this season was just a big tease. Yeah, and this happens more often than not, I feel. Like, the light has Granny Goodness. The light has this character. The light has Lord Zod. And they just kind of do their own antagonistic thing for the season. And the light's not really involved. But at the end, they bring in somebody new. And then they're the antagonist for the next season. Let me see. I hate season 4. It's so bad, and it even made me dislike the members of the original team. I don't think, and this may differ from the vibe of my video that I dropped. I don't think it's bad. I don't think season 4 is bad. I think it's disappointing. I think it's below average. It's below Young Justice average. Young Justice has set between season 1 and season 2. It set an average score, in my opinion, of like a 8. It was like an 8 out of 10 between the first two seasons. 8 or yeah, not 9. 8 out of 10 between the first two seasons. Season 3. Actually, I'm gonna go back and cover some of season 3 because I know that's a large point of contention. Let me see. As far as why it's woke, I think the whole pandemic. Wait, that doesn't say pandemic. That's a theme this season. Pendantic. Okay, theme this season. I don't really know. We were educated on depression, educated on sexual styles, autism, climate issues, Islam, Catholicism, a lot of preaching. And here's the thing. Yes, that is true. Between the poly introduced with the Atlantis arc, between the homosexuality within the not asexual. Oh my god, I'm blanking. This is a horrible look. But what Halo was going through, between all of that, between of course the depression of Beast Boy, the climate issues that are introduced in the Atlantis arc, there is a lot of preaching. There is a lot of real world ties to this show. But here's the thing. This entire show, the idea of Young Justice is a group of young superheroes learning how to be themselves. Number one, separate from their mentors and the people that they're sidekicks to. Right? That was the first 2 seasons. And then since then, it's about new heroes, new metahumans, dealing with the pressures of number one being metahuman in a highly like publicized superhero world, and a lot of that is highlighted with Beast Boy and the Outsiders. Not Pan. I'm blanking. Is it Bye? No. You threw me off. I hate Ace. What am I thinking? But but those themes are going to be explored when you're talking about teenagers and young adults exploring themselves and exploring the world. Like, Young Justice was never, not since season one, has never been a show that is just about cool superheroes doing cool things and cool tricks. Like in season one with the whole Wally saving the princess and all that, we explore and count Vertigo. We explore like corruption within not governments, but whatever count Vertigo, whatever he's the count of. And like essentially a coup d'état attempt by taking out the princess or the queen or whatever she was. That's just a little bit of that. We get inklings to the racism of Miss Martian's home planet and her own anxieties as a character, as a teenager in season one, with her and everybody basically hiding their true selves or their backstories with Artemis, or their true selves with Miss Martian being a white Martian. All that is explored since day one. So when it comes to like making real life parallels, that's always been a thing. So the people who and I don't think anyone in the chat has mentioned this. Just an extension. People who are claiming that like woke it being woke to talk about the racism on Mars. People were saying it's woke to key in on the depression of a character like Beast Boy, where like a lot of the people that helped him grow up and helped him acclimate to the superhero world are now dead, partially as a result of his own actions. That's crazy. I don't think exploring is the issue. It's the tone of talking down to the viewer, the educating the audience. Specifically with Halo, with the Muslim thing, with her, and then I think the sexuality innuendos with her. I agree, but also this show, and this is a problem that I think the show has and will continue to have. It doesn't have an audience. It doesn't have an audience. When it comes to talking down to the audience, that's what you do in children's shows. That's what you do in teen shows. But people calling real world themes being reflected as I swear season 2 was about illegal. Yeah, a lot of season 2 and season 3 were about illegal immigrants. I seen Cassandra Cain. I like seeing. I was speaking to Cassandra. Look, it's crazy. The amount of people that like I just realize, and they don't really mean this, that say that they want like just a show just to be a bare bones like beat 'em up show. I don't know if y'all know what I mean by that, but I'm basically saying like the amount of people in the comments, the amount of people on YouTube saying that, oh, Young Justice used to be a show that was just about like teenagers just having fun and being superheroes. And granted, it has woke means I'm working. Woke means I'm woking. Jesus Christ. But number one, that shows like not having an understanding of it. And granted, the show has definitely gotten a lot more heavy-handed with its themes. It's introduced a few characters that are literally just about certain themes and part and aspects of the show in the universe. Especially with Eduardo and the kids from I forgot. There's so many different factions in this and like acronyms. I forgot what the place that Eduardo and those kids are from. I don't know. Good kids shows respect the audience and explore the audience with nuance, which season 1 and season 2 they did. And like I said, it's definitely more heavy-handed now. And that has to do with the show not knowing its audience. Is it for kids? Is it for old fans? Is it for middle-aged people? Is it for young adults? Is it for teenagers? Who are they talking down to? And who are these stories for? Because season 4, it's clearly for OGs, except the Halo and Brion storyline, which a lot of OG people don't like for some reason. Yeah, I was about to ask who the main audience even was, because I assume it's mostly people around our age who watched it as a kid. But you never, based off of season 4, you would say that. And even based off of season 3, you would say that because we still have our characters, and I hate people that act like in season 3 we just don't see Nightwing in the gang. They're just mentors, like they're in there. Miss Martian and Superboy's relationship is still, I believe, the target audience on HBO Max is adult female. Okay, I'm assuming you mean young adult as well, so like 19 to 24. But did those people watch the show in 2010? Did they? Did let me see, 19 in 2022. They might have. Yes. Okay. Okay. Um then do we think that the show is meeting that demographic? Do we think the show is uh like, because like he said, the show is definitely trying to quote educate now. It's definitely like at points it's talking down to its audience. It's explaining the things that have just happened. Uh and that's things that you don't even see in like the best of kid shows. You don't see that in Avatar. You don't see that in Teen Titans. You don't see that in season 1 and season 2 of Young Justice. Um so is the show supplying it? Personally, I don't see it talking down to anyone. Okay. And I viewed scenes like Halo learning about Muslim religions as an example of them trying to make Halo explore what they want to be. I don't feel like the writers respect me as a fan of the show in DC Comics. They treat the original characters of the team in season 3 the way they season. I I disagree with that. In season 3, our characters are still our characters. Dick Grayson is still like the charismatic leader who still like is did they show him fighting? Not like physically fighting, but like in his mind fighting, but still fighting between uh wanting to balance a social life and the responsibility. I think they do, with like his abrasiveness to like get new people, and by new people I mean his friends, like recruit Artemis into doing what he's doing, recruit Zatanna into doing what he's doing with the covert ops mission, and then his reluctancy to continue to do everything in season 3 behind the scenes, because he's technically betraying and lying to his friends and the people that he's grown up with his entire life. I think in season 3 especially, they still treat our characters with a lot of respect. And they're still the characters that we met in season 1 and season 2. It's just that they're in a new role. They're just mentors now to characters whose stories are just starting, compared to most of our OG cast whose stories had ended, with the exception of Superboy, whose story I think ended in season 3 with him being the face of the Xenomorphs and them coming out and such. It is Cardiac. What's up, Archie? Let's talk to Ricardo. Do you think the majority of Muslims worldwide agree with the presentation of Islam? And that's aside from that episode where they are explaining what being Muslim is and what Islam is to Halo and to the audience, which I do partially agree with. I forgot who said it earlier, where you were saying that they're just exploring who Halo wants to be, which is the whole point of her character. She's not Muslim. Halo is not Muslim. Now I understand, and I read this earlier. It may be like absurdly disrespectful for her to continue to wear the hijab despite not being Muslim, which if that's the case, please let me know. That's crossing the line. I understand that, but I took her continuing to wear the hijab as that is the only thing that Halo can connect, aside from like the parents of Gabrielle, to Gabrielle. Halo herself is not Muslim. Halo's entire character is, she doesn't know who she is. She's trying to find out who she wants to be. Now, by her wearing the hijab, to someone watching the show who's Muslim, that may be disrespectful. I truly apologize if that's the case. They shouldn't do that if that's the case. I agree. But that's why I took her continuing to wear the hijab as. And also, I took it as, okay, she's not Muslim, but for the sake of the parents of Gabrielle, for the sake of her respecting the body that she's in, she wants to learn, she wants to represent, and she wants to what's it called? I think Khalid's better Muslim representation than Halo. I agree because he's actual Muslim representation. I don't think Halo is Muslim representation. I think Halo is uh vicarious representation. I think Halo is transgenderism representation. I think Halo is queer representation. I think Halo is the person who is exploring different parts of themselves and doesn't know what to do in the world. I think that's what she represents. I don't think she represents Muslim. I don't think the show was trying to get her to represent the Muslim community and Islam as a whole at all. Aside from that episode where they're trying to educate her, but that's just her exploring. She doesn't know who she is. She wants to know who Gabrielle was to know if she can still do that, but she can't. Um, it was disconnected though. It definitely was disconnected. For Khalid, it was done much better. It was done much better. I do agree. But yeah, that's my thing with Halo. Her entire character, everything with her character, even though it may be jarring, even though it may be disconnected from some of the other things in the story or the season or whatever, in both season 3 and season 4, her entire character is, I don't know who I am. I'm in this body, and I'm learning how it what it means to be human and such. We talked about Zatara's religion and what it means to him. I hate all. Wait, let me see. I hate all the part about Halo being Muslim before she became a hero. I just don't talk about other religions, so I introduce Islam. Well, Halo wasn't Muslim. That's okay. The hijab that Halo continues to wear is a representation, at least how I perceive it, of the body in which she's inhabiting, which belongs to Gabrielle before her, who was Muslim, with Muslim parents in a Muslim household. Halo, in one episode this season, tries to discover what that religion is, what that way of life is, and what it means to be Muslim and being the Islamic religion. This is a topic that I'm not super versed in. Some of y'all in the comments are definitely more versed and more knowledgeable about this than me. And a foreign that wouldn't have gelled with many Christians. That's another thing. Considering HBO's audience and the people that are probably watching the, what is it called, the show. A lot of people are ignorant to Islam as a religion in general, and what it means to be Muslim and what the hijab represents. I don't remember. I believe she still wears the hijab even after that episode. Granted, we don't see much of her after that episode, but I believe she still does. Which, if that is disrespectful, I agree. Take it off. Oh shit. My fault, y'all. I had to sneeze. But yeah. Oh my god. Jesus. It is coming out. It is coming out. So a man finding strength in his faith and using it to help inspire why he became a hero is something Christians would be mad at. And as why I see his point, they look liberal viewpoints of both of them present as the answer. Okay, when it comes to the religious aspect, I understand. I kind of agree, but I mean, that just comes with Halo's character. And granted, that is woke. That is woke. And clearly with the amount of discourse around it, I found the way they write Muslim characters completely disrespectful. I'm not Muslim, but I know a lot about Islam. Okay. If that's the case, then the show just should stay away from that for the future. Like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable on Islam. I'm not the most knowledgeable on what it means to be Muslim. So I can't even truly say whether Khalid's representation of it. I mean, Khalid's characterization of it was like truly great. I just know it flowed and it wasn't super jarring, even compared to Halo. But I do want to point out the fact that Halo as a superhero, the superhero that is Halo, um, is not Muslim. She's not. Uh, that she at this point just take off the hijab and just have a scene where she is like, look, this is my life now. Um, I'm Violet Harper. I'm me. I'm doing this, and then she takes off the hijab, and it's like Gabrielle is no more type beat. Um, Even that, I don't know if that would be disrespectful. But I want to get back to that. I think that covers the woke thing. When it comes to the religion, I guess we can agree. Well, not I guess. I can agree with you all if like I said, y'all are much more knowledgeable about this than me. Um, if they did bad representation of it, don't do it in the future. Bad woke representation. When it comes to the depression, amazing with Beast Boy. Absolutely amazing. Uh, when it comes to the bicuriousness of Halo's character, I think it's done good. That's her entire purpose, to explore those themes. So she's basically the experimental character. I'm not gonna lie to you. As long as she's in the show, we have to do that. The Poly thing, with Atlantis, it's an inconsistency in the story for sure. It definitely wasn't foreseen at the beginning of the story, which is why he was jealous of Tula. I mean, not he wasn't jealous of Tula, but he was jealous because Tula chose Garth. What do you think about the way the writers keep teasing Wally's return? I don't like it because it's been 2 seasons and it hasn't been addressed at all. And even the only thing, not even teasing Wally's return, but teasing how characters react about Wally and still think about Wally, which is what Miss Martian and Zatanna put Artemis through last season, wasn't addressed. It wasn't addressed. There's been like 30 episodes since then. It hasn't been addressed. Mind you, this is an arc in which it completely relied upon the cooperation between old friends. All of those characters interacted with each other this season. There should be no reason why it isn't brought up yet. There's no reason. They just need to bring him back, or at least conclude that story arc in some way, shape, or form. Personally, like when the show was in hiatus and like everyone was clamoring for Wally to come back and everything, I didn't think they should do it. At this point, with how they brought Superboy back, I think is that the only character they brought back? I believe so. It makes no, and with the teasing, they have to bring him back now. But it would have made sense to just keep him dead, to just show like, yeah, in this land of superheroes, even though these are teenagers, they're dealing with threats that kill adults, let alone children. And then we open season 3 with metahumans being trafficked and children also dying. That just not only humanizes our characters more, humbles them more, but it shows us, the audience, that our favorite characters could be gone at any moment. But at this point, they have to bring him back. They've teased it too much. It's just a matter of whether they do that as soon as possible, which they should, because it's been 30 episodes. Also, another thing I hate about Halo is how OP she is. Is she OP? I mean, she's just a mother box, which mother boxes are OP, so I guess. At this point, the Speed Force would be too predictable, so I think it would be something like the Blackest Night if they were to bring him back. Yeah, it would have to be. It would have to be. Or they would bring him back through. I don't know. Okay, but will Jason Todd and Tula come back? Jason Todd, there's no reason to bring in Red Hood. Red Hood doesn't pose a threat to this universe. And Tula come back. There's no reason for Tula to come back. She's largely irrelevant aside from being Aqualad's love interest, which season 4 concluded, really. And that's another thing. Season 4 really concluded all of these original characters' arcs. It concluded the Miss Martian, Superboy, anything with their relationship. They're married now. Miss Martian has fully come full circle on learning when to, like, not abuse her powers, but use the full extent of her powers to tap into other people's minds, and without corroding each other's minds. She doesn't just peer into people's minds anymore, or at least her loved ones' minds anymore. Her arc is done. Superboy's arc is definitely done. Nightwing's arc is done. They also handled his fake out death horrible in season 4. Because if I'm not mistaken, the episode before he comes back, which is the finale, like he's bleeding and everything, and then they just open the last episode with him just walking. And it's like, no, you show him like the fact. And I knew he wasn't dead. I'm not saying, oh, they just brought him back from the dead. People don't drop dead when they get married. I understand, but I'm saying their relationship. When it comes to like milking their relationship for development, the marriage is essentially like where it stops. We've seen them struggle. We've seen them bicker. We've seen them disagree with each other's powers and deal with each other's with Connor's anger issues and with her issues of overusing her powers. There's really nothing else to milk that relationship for. Of course, I'm not saying when people get married in stories it just ends. But I'm saying, considering, number one, how long these characters have been developed in the story. What's up, Brazy Fever? Considering that, those character arcs are basically done. Nightwing's arc is essentially done. Artemis's arc, the only outstanding thing is basically Wally, which I don't. That's another thing. The way that her character is right now, isn't like she doesn't need Wally to come back. The only thing that Wally would coming back do would just like do what is it called? Introduce melodrama. That's the only thing it would do for her character at the very least. Not for the story. It kind of annoys me how they brought back Superboy this season and not Wally. They had to bring back Superboy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Granted, they still should have done something about Wally, like something, instead of just teases and clues and shots at a finger or whatever. The ring, the Legionnaire ring. I mean, we might get Heroes in Crisis. We will get Heroes in Crisis, and that's something I wanted to talk about when getting to the ending. And I might as well just get to this last arc. And especially this last episode. Do you think Jesse McCarthy is the best Dick Grayson? Absolutely. What other version of Dick Grayson? Okay, I guess the Adventures of not the Adventures of Batman. Batman Anime Universe. I mean, not universe. The Batman animated TV show. There, fucking y'all know what I'm talking about. They're gonna do Heroes in Crisis. That's the only thing. That's the only reason to mention Sanctuary. And when she was building up to it, talking about we need a place where heroes and teenagers and the young generation alike need to. I'm like, they're doing Heroes in Crisis. They're doing Sanctuary. That's the only reason to mention Sanctuary. Oh shit. Rocket barely even got an arc. She just accepted the fact her son got autism and it's different. And that's it. It's the time that she got. It's the time that she got. Well, and yeah, that's what happened. But she had to see it through the lens of somebody else. I still don't remember that guy's name. Let me see. Yeah, Jesse McCarthy is definitely the best Dick Grayson. No cap, based off just off of season 1 and season 2, he was the best Dick Grayson. Uh, the perform everyone uses that same I used that clip in my video talking about season 1 and season 2 of Dick Grayson saying I don't want to be Batman anymore. uh Young Justice just loves to tease facts. I so hope they don't do Heroes in Crisis. Mass murder, not my thing. I like the premise of Heroes in Crisis. I think everyone likes the premise of it. It's just in you know, turned into a fucking murder mystery. I've lost any hope. I've had before to get Wallman back. I don't think they'll do it. I see them doing it, but if they do it, if they, like I said, it'll just introduce more melodrama into Artemis, and I think, like I said, the OG6, I think their arcs are pretty done. What's good, Julian? We're definitely back in business. I want to stream more. The creator said it was a joke and they aren't doing Heroes in Crisis. For real? Greg Wiseman said that? If Greg Wiseman said it, sure. Sure. There's just no need to bring up Sanctuary unless you're doing it. Just like zero reason. The funny thing is Black Canary hated it in the comic creators. Yeah. Do you think Nolan North is the best? When it comes, and here's the thing, we haven't seen a lot. Well, Wally West is different because he was Flash for like 30 years. So in every adaptation was also Wally West instead of Barry Allen for 30 years. But Young Justice, even with its flaws, even with its shortcomings, even with its disappointments, I think we can all agree that it is definitely one of the best comic book adaptations of individual characters. The characters that it does do right, it does them to the T. It's done more with Beast Boy than anything Beast Boy has ever been in. Even George Perez, like even New Teen Titans. Let me see. Not a fan of season 4. Julian, I really, you're trolling as fuck. I was expecting more Milestones characters and Icon, but the new gods are cool. Facts. We should have definitely gotten more of those guys. Young Justice Dick Grayson is the most comic book accurate version of Dick. Facts. Facts. It has every, and that's one thing that I really love about Young Justice. Young Justice is the thing that I can point to and be like, this is exactly why. This is Young Justice is what gives my claim of Dick Grayson being the most important character in all of DC Comics. It gives that merit. It's Young Justice because Dick Grayson truly is like the center of this universe. He is the thing that keeps everything together. He is the thing that keeps all the teams. He's the things that keep. But truthfully, he's always been okay. Okay, I got you. I don't know. Perez's Beast Boy and Whole were pretty great. Yeah, Young Justice. It's one of the best comic book adaptations ever, and not of a specific run, but just of the characterization of Superboy, the development of Beast Boy, the characterization of Dick Grayson, and also just creating characters like Artemis, Calder, and I'm fucking blanking, but yeah, y'all get what I'm saying. Beast Boy literally since the show has come back, he's been the most developed character in the cast. Like I don't know if anyone else has realized that, but I've been repeating that, and it's just ridiculous to me because it's like out of all the characters, you decide to focus and like develop Beast Boy. It's the way that like you I don't know. It's a weird decision, but it pays off. Beast Boy is an amazing character. Young Justice is more laid back than good comic run Dick. It depends on what run you're talking about. If you're talking about like Nightwing post um Owls, Court of Owls, then yeah, it's more, he's more laid back. But that's because he's within the, like, the team. I think it has to do with the mood. If you've read like the more laid back Dick comics, then I think he's more comic. Like I think this version of Dick Grayson, this is the version of Dick Grayson that I think could grow up to be what we see in Nightwing New Order. If y'all know what I'm talking about with New Order, this is the Dick Grayson that I think could grow up and be something like New Order Nightwing, which is like peak like capabilities of Dick Grayson. Let me see. That's because he's not in a stressful situation to wait for. Like it's because of the mood of the show. It's because he's in a different situation. Since when did you? I've been live for a little bit under an hour? Question mark. Dubs on 6. I definitely gotta talk about. Hey, if y'all want to hear my basketball opinions or opinions on different shows, or I'm not gonna lie, we mainly talk about, or like social opinions that we might not get to in these streams, check out my podcast. It should be in the description. Loud and Wrong Podcast. We go live on Saturdays. Is it too late for Young Justice to give arcs for Justice League members, like focusing on Captain Adam, since Greg Weisman is a huge fan? He's written some of his best comics. I think at this point the cast is too vast, and there's so many characters that they've given like partial development to that they need to finish. There's so many leftover plot lines. The Reach and the Light still haven't done shit. There's so many things that need to happen before they go back to develop Justice League members. But they could do it along with those, similar to how they've been developing Canary along with the therapy sessions a little bit, or at least characterizing her. Similar to how they developed what is it called? They've developed, like, as we've keyed in on what am I saying? Rocket being a part of the league now, we've gotten to know other league members and such. So they could do something like that, but like true arcs, nah, it's definitely too late. It's definitely too late. Because the league is too attached from the team, the outsiders, and just everyone involved for those paths to cross. Young Justice is filled up with almost every character in the DC universe. Oh, I am really back here. My pet peeve is that they nerf a lot of characters. The talent always need to speak backwards. Something to deal with, because like you said, if they just adapted these guys by the comics, like by their actual runs, everyone would be overpowered. And like, for example, these last 5 episodes, focusing on the Zods and the Kryptonians, that would have to be a whole season, because you have to raise an army in order to contend with, like, I guess the peak versions of all these characters. So they do nerf them, but it's for the sake of, you know, putting them on a team and telling a cohesive story and focusing on things outside of, you know, their abilities. That they gave Wally West goggles on the show, because I do, which they gave him. Everything about the character designs from season 1 is perfect. Not gonna lie. Filling up the tub with warm steamy water, watching. I hate Julie. Why they DH Black Lightning's daughters? They should have been teenagers. I think the last thing they need to do is put more people on the team. Oh, y'all talking about Black Lightning more. Black Lightning was great in season 3. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Now, should they have focused on him that much? No. Because like I've said with every other character, there's some characters that just are not important. even if you're gonna write a story about them, you should probably write a story. You should probably use that story for someone else's character. Um, Basically introducing Black Light, because they did a whole redesign for Black Lightning to make him stand out more, to make him like an important character. Am I gonna read their new comic series? I've been seeing it advertised everywhere. I may. It's called Targets, right? Young Justice Targets. I was gonna use that as the thumbnail art for this video, but nah. I don't mind his presence, but he's not that important. But he does get a lot of great development. I view him in the same lens I view Beast Boy. Beast Boy should not be as important as he is, but they've handled him so well. They've handled him so well. They've developed him to the point to where, like, I'm not even really mad that they're focusing on like the fifth most important character of Teen Titans. Black Lightning was a great character. He's definitely not important in comics. He's not important in anything except now Young Justice season 3, and then they drop him. He's the leader of the Justice League, and he was in like one episode. It's stupid. And seeing development with their powers, to be honest, aside from Miss Martian, yeah, that's why they nerf him. Aquaman decided to share his mantle with Lagoon Boy and Calder. I just don't see the point of that. Maybe I just don't understand like Atlantean storylines, because I've never read an Aquaman comic, and the only conflict I've seen with Atlantis is either in Injustice or in Titans Rebirth. I hate Dr. Jade. I would've rocked her shit. Facts. She could get the fade real fucking quick. I want him and Static to actually get an arc. Static will never get an arc because they don't want to focus on. I'm not even making the black point. They just don't want to focus on. I'm convinced they don't want to focus on those kids that escaped with Black Lightning and Eduardo. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Let me see. Black Lightning CW show is okay. His daughters carried the show though. You're saying that because China Anne McClain is one of his daughters, and you're not lying. Stream is popping. I'm happy though. I'm happy that people are coming to talk about it, because I did want to have an open discussion about it. And address like people's things either with my video or just about the show in general. Skinny Bob, I'm not reading that. I was hooping for hours, sorry. I was hooping it. It's swing level. Aquaman Andromeda has gotten good reviews. Okay. Wasn't Black Lightning supposed to be his Black Lightning is Static's mentor. Matter of fact, what happened to the rest of the Runaways? They don't matter. They don't care. Every time they go back to the where they have the circle sit down conversations, they're there, but they don't matter. Good thing I ain't waste my money on Doctor Strange, because I would have been. Doctor Strange was a good movie. It was solid. 7.5 out of 8 out of 10. Not only that, I like her characters, and the mom was annoying. Oh yeah, I'm trolling. Yeah, I'm trolling. The daughters are actually good characters. Black Lightning is the most boring part of his own show. He's definitely better in Young Justice than he was in the show. But CW just can't make superhero shows, so that's that. Young Justice Unlimited handled a large amount of characters better than Justice League Unlimited. Jesus Christ. That's because of the type of storytelling that Justice League Unlimited did. It jumped around, and the audience understood that it was jumping around from episode to episode. Young Justice has an identity problem. We discussed it. I don't know if you were, Brazy, you were here earlier when we were talking about who is this show directed towards? Is it directed towards new fans? Is it trying to satisfy people my age or to 22 who watched the original show? Like, who is it geared towards? I don't hate Lagoon Boy at all. But I'll never understand why Greg thought that Lagoon Boy should be Aquaman, because he doesn't. Yeah, Lagoon Boy. When was the last time we saw Lagoon Boy before this? Cause I saw him have a beard, and I'm like, what is that? What happened? Jesus Christ. It's crazy how the writers haven't changed, but they forgot about a lot of plot. Exactly, and that's something that someone in the comments has said. They were like, "Oh, maybe the show is new writers now." Like, no, that's not what happens. What happened is the show, and actually, I think this is a good time to switch to switch screens. Oh, this is. Hold on, guys. I'm a bad YouTuber. Here we go. So on the wiki, right? This is where I go to remember a lot of plot lines and just do research for the videos that I do and things of that nature. Here are the major plot lines of season 4, right? You have the first wedding where Superboy dies. You have Ma'ala Fa'ak and everything that he's doing. You have the time travelers with Phantom Girl and the Legionnaires. You have Savage, Cassandra Savage, and Tigress, well, Artemis. The Lord of Chaos, replacing Clarion and everything. The grieving of Superboy. They haven't updated actually, but if you come here to the writers, a lot of these guys are the same writers that they've had over the past few seasons. The problem is, each of these guys are getting one episode. Shout out to Carrie Payton, because Carrie Payton plays like 10 characters in this show. I lied, but like everyone that's black with a bald head, he plays. I swear to God. Silas Stone, Black Lightning, Black Manta, Aqualad, Aquaman. He plays both of them. I lie, he doesn't play Aquaman, but they're saying because Aqualad is the new Aquaman. This is just inefficient. This is like this is why there's no cohesion in the story. Well, not no cohesion, but why like plot lines get forgotten. This is exactly why, because you've each individual writer getting their own episode, and then Greg Wiseman teaming up with a few of them, and then Brendan Vietti, who are the two original writers. But this is the same thing as season 3. If you go back to season 3, I don't think it's that many, but they do essentially the same thing. This is what it's been. This is why the cohesion in the story from episode to episode, arc to arc is low. Because like that's what happens. You have a group of like 15 editors. I mean, or not editors, writers. They definitely need a bigger budget, but they got that with season 4. Season 4 looks better than season 3 because we don't have to still panels anymore for real. So it would be one thing if they changed the writers. They didn't. The writers just have their own ideas of what to write on each episode, and they're given complete freedom. So at the writing at a writer's table, you should never have 20 names. And if you do have 20 names, there should be a hierarchy of like, okay, you're gonna work under me, and you're gonna take over in season 5 and continue this storyline that we've been working on. That's not what's happening, and we can see that it's proving in the work. I mean, we still got some still panels, but y'all remember season 3. Y'all remember season 3, the slideshows. Y'all remember the slideshows. Y'all remember the flashback, the Nightwing flashback, when he was in the middle of the battle and he was imagining everyone, and all that was a flashback. Whoa, man, ooh, what's good, Grayson? Like, yeah, y'all remember. Not gonna lie, even though I'm black, I don't like the Zod race swap. They didn't even bother to race swap his wife. It's not that big of a deal to me. They're aliens. I don't really care. I recently watched Arcade, and I saw how easily that show was able to handle like different genders and different races and different species, and how because it was a fantasy world, it didn't have to be mentioned at all. That should be the case in DC, but because DC is too close of a portrayal to real life, that doesn't happen. Nevertheless, it shouldn't matter what race they are, even if they do race bend them. They're aliens. Who cares? But I get what you're saying. Um, you know, the Zods aren't white. Kryptonian. I mean, the Zods are white. The Kryptonians aren't black for the most part. Uh, I don't hate Calder at all, but I won't understand why Greg thought Calder should be still be Aquaman, even though Arthur Curry is going to go back to Arthur Demoda. Yeah, that just don't make sense. Um, it would have been way better. Calder changed his if Calder changed his own superhero name instead of needlessly continue to be Aquaman, even though Arthur's going back to be Aquaman. Yeah, that just didn't make sense at all. I felt like the final episode was rushed as hell. Uh, I know this is disconnected, but you know, nevertheless. We like I said earlier, we opened the episode with Dick Grayson just walking up from a off-screen like recovery of stopping his own heart rate and almost bleeding out. Which, granted, that I'm not one of the people that probably got fooled by like Dick Grayson dying, because I know as soon as they mentioned the heart rate, I'm like, okay, he slowed it down. He learned that from Batman. That's Dick Grayson. He's not dead. What's it called? But still, to do it off screen is kind of sucky. Even if it's a fake out and everyone knows it's a fake out, you're still supposed to show it, even if it's for a quick second. You just do it comedically. Be like, oh, they're gone. Got it. You just do some shit like that. I don't know, but let me think. But yeah, it's the final episode. So much was happening. So much was also had to be set up for the future with Sanctuary, with the return of the Legionnaires going back to where they came from. They wanted to reset all of that and do the wedding and finalize do the final fight and introduce Supergirl and set up for potentially Sanctuary, potentially Heroes in Crisis, but not really. It's a fake out. They did all that within like 20 minutes. I lied. The last episode was like 27 minutes. It was a little bit longer, but still, like, that's a lot of cramming. Uh, Mel from Arcane, great. Facts. Mel is great. I think season parts of season 3 are better than season 4. Season 3 is more consistent, in my opinion. Even though it introduces new characters, uh, even though it introduces new characters and new plot lines with those characters, I still prefer the consistency of that than the consistency that we got with this season of returning back to the OG6 and setting up for something greater. Season 3 had a through line, had one like overarching plot, and it developed that every single episode. The Zods really didn't become prevalent until the second half of season 4. And for the first half, we were just kind of jumping around, seeing what everyone was doing. And then we would get inklings of, oh, here's Beast Boy a little bit. Oh, here's Halo a little bit. Oh, here's the Outsiders a little bit. And that's what it was for like the first 12 episodes. The consistency of season 3 is much higher, even though, it may introduce some characters that you think, like, Geoforce isn't relevant, Halo isn't relevant, Forager's annoying, I get that, but it's more consistent. It's like, okay, Brion is trying to get back to, he's trying to become a superhero, he's trying to become a king, he's trying to get back to where, he can be Prince of Markovia. Okay, they're trying to stop meta-human trafficking, that's explored through Black Lightning through the entire season, that never stops. Season 4 jumps around a lot. So that's entirely better in season 3 and season 4. A lot of people won't say that though. I don't really know why. Like we've discussed it now for like over an hour. I still really don't know why. Chad and Cardiac, what do you want to see in storylines for the next season? Let me see. Ricardo, I'll see Billy beat some sense into his sister and see Brion finally realize he's being manipulated. Facts. I didn't like all the episodes of season 3, but I didn't watch it on fast forward like I did some of season 4. Forager isn't. Yes, Forager is very annoying. I hate Forager. God, I hate Forager. And all of his kind. It's just annoying. They're all annoying. And I understand that's their language. Well, I mean, not their language. I understand like they refer to each other as foragers. Um, I understand that's how they. I understand how they talk and things. It's so annoying. I don't care if that's how they. It's annoying, and they're kind of irrelevant. So, like, they're more irrelevant, even with the screen time that the new characters in season 3 get. Still irrelevant. All this guy is kind of crazy. It is. It is. What do I want to see in the next season? Follow up on Artemis being manipulated by her lifelong friends. Uh, Follow up on Brion being manipulated. Um, Follow up on uh 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 follow up on Blue Beetle and the gang. Follow up on them. Like, just develop them a little bit more. Develop Bart a little bit. Like, look into like how he's feeling after he's basically replacing a dead guy. Granted, I expect that dead guy to come back next season, but still. Um, what are some other leftover plot lines? And truly do something with Darkseid. Do something with Darkseid. Like, don't just have him hire cronies again. They have already introduced bad Supergirl. Dang. What Blue Beetle? I mean, Jaime. Jaime's the only one. Because old dude died. Get Beast Boy back with the Outsiders, combine them with the team, and potentially do something, anything with Cassandra, Sandmark. Uh, is that? Is it Cassie? Yeah, it is Cassie. No, that's the Wonder Girl that we have. And Tim Drake are yes, I was just about to mention Cassie and Tim Drake are the least developed characters in this entire show. They get 0 screen time. Literally, Tracy 13 is Tracy 13 and Spoiler are more developed than Tim Drake. It's the most ridiculous thing in the history of the Bat family. I've never seen anything like this. Actually, I think that is the difference between season 1 and season 2, then season 3 and season 4. Consequences. They address the issues raised before moving on. That's why I would like. Okay, I agree. Yeah, that is Tim and Cassie. No, I'm not even saying they're together. I'm just saying that those two, which it's funny that they were a couple and still did nothing. No screen time. Nothing was available. I mean, nothing was built on those two characters. It's such a coincidence that they were a couple, even though they did break up. Yeah. Want to see an adaptation of Blackest Night. I gotta reread Blackest Night. It's been such a long time. I felt so betrayed when I found out in the main comic that Tim and Cassie wasn't a couple at all. It was Cassie and Superboy. Wait, what? They kissed at the end of season 2, didn't they kiss? Oh, you're saying in the comic? Yeah, it was Cassie and Superboy. Yeah, in the Young Justice comic, like from 99 to 03. Yes, it was Cassie and Superboy. My fault. I love that story. I love that era. That's the second best era of Teen Titans, like from 99 to 2003. It is crazy. It is amazing. And then that final storyline where they cross over. I forgot, Graduation Day, and then like half of them die. Oh my god. I need to see that adapted. No cap, that needs to be the ending of this show. That adaptation. And the standard for the Teen Titans would be the Outsiders. In the comic, they kiss 2 and 2. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, however, Tim and Cassie did kiss in the main comic, and it was a borderline trauma bonding. Yeah, that happened after he died. So no one gonna bring up the fact that Miss Martian married a 7-year-old. All right, Bucko. Okay. Woo, woo. I was about to say some crazy shit. Uh, do y'all care? Okay, unless it's like literally, unless the character is like also portrayed to be a child, do y'all care about like fictional children, like fictional characters' ages? Like when they just arbitrarily say, "Oh, this one's 16, this one's 21," unless unless their character is like, "Okay, you're literally a kid." I'm not saying like sexualizing characters. I'm just saying, do y'all care? Do y'all care? It is a shame they didn't use comic book Young Justice characters like Empress and Arrowhead and Secret more. True, but the show has already gone so deep in their bag of characters that they just need to, it's a shame, but nah, they need to handle what they already have right now. Deathstroke. Oh, dude, without a doubt. Like Terra is one of those characters. Well, in Teen Titans, Terra is one of those in the show Teen Titans. Terra is one of those characters that is portrayed to clearly be a child. Uh, I care to the extent, especially if they look or act like a child. I only care if Connor acts like a child or has the mentality of a child. Yeah, true, true. Yeah, I think in Young Justice, yeah, he was joking. I'm unlucky dreamer, stupid. So it's no, yeah, he's stupid. But yeah, when am I gonna end? It's almost 2 right now. I don't want to end now. I think we still have some other stuff. Oh, I want to, let me get back to this screen. Because I want to pull up a few videos like this. Shout out Implicitly Pretentious, because he dropped this video. I don't know if y'all watch Implicitly Pretentious, but his videos are very interesting to me. Just his style of video making, it's very interesting. In the comic book, Deathstroke admit he drugged Terra. Yeah, look, the comic book, they were both just dicks to each other, because Terra was not equally, but like kind of using him as well. Yeah, people are still commenting on that video. That video is at 13,000 views, chat. That is crazy. But I want to look at a video like this where he is talking about. I watched like the first 2 minutes. He's talking about the wokeness. Let me make sure that my desktop audio is. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Alright, there may be a bit of an echo. Let me see how bad it is. Oh, I can't. Yeah, there's nothing to hear. But okay. Hopefully the Hopefully the. I'm. The camera's right there. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on, Chad. Hold on. But all right. I apologize about the echo. Oh, there's. Oh, it's more than a bit. Okay, hold on. I'll just mute my mic. I'll just mute my mic when the video's playing.
And for those of you who are not in the know, Young Justice is an animated superhero show based around the DC Comics characters who were mainly sidekicks, but obviously a lot of them evolved into more full-fledged superheroes down the line. But anyway, the show ran back in the early 2010s and was canceled after 2 seasons, and it aired on our card episode 14. I had been following the show with the new season when it aired on HBO Max, and there were definitely some stuff getting added in to the series, which we'll touch on in a minute. But when I got to this new arc, which is about Aqualad and Atlantis and things like that, The amount of stuff that they packed into a 25-minute episode is absolutely 14. If you care, just know they're gonna get spoiled.
My fault. This is very bootleg how I'm doing this. But basically, he goes on to talk about uh he goes on to talk about how the show in episode 14 of this season, um they introduce the fact that Calder is excuse me, that Calder's bi and that polygamy is now a thing and now a natural thing in Jesus Christ in Atlantis, which we talked about earlier. The inconsistencies of that, of course. He also talks about Halo's character, and some people in he also brings up the Martian racism, which is mentioned all the way in season one. That Miss Martian was like not attacked, but like discriminated against because she's a white Martian and everything. In that it's he's basically saying it's intrusive to the story. It's not. Um, Let me see. Once Halo started being non-binary, I was taken back a lot. I don't know why. Her entire character. Thank you, JK, for the bless you. Her entire character is that she doesn't know who she is. Her entire character is that she is trying to find like what she should be in this world now, being human, and possessing a body that like had a life before her. That's her entire character. So if anyone were to be non-binary, it would be her. And also, black people exist, gay people exist, non-binary people exist. When we're talking about a story that has, I forgot where I found like the entire character list, but over 100 characters, like named characters. It's not here. I forgot where to find it. I think maybe the voice actor. This is how many voice actors, and a lot of these voice actors play multiple roles because the show has no budget. We're talking about a cast that huge. There are gonna be non-binary characters. There are gonna be bisexual characters. There are gonna be characters that explore different parts of like society, right? And considering the fact that at the end of the day, DC is a fantasy world, if anything, it should be treated as like more normal in this fantasy world than it would be in our real life. So for them to exist, now granted, we talked about earlier how it was kind of heavy-handed, how Young Justice Season 4 did it, but it's just, I don't know, the voice acting for Halo is a big reason why I don't like her. The voice acting, yeah, it's very cringe, it's very stereotypical, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see. It'll be a shame if it got canceled because it won't get canceled. The fact is, the show is pushing diversity, whereas previously diversity was just there. The diversity was inherent. Think about the first season. Diversity was always just there. It wasn't pushed. I don't think it's pushed now, aside from Halo. But even Halo, like, I just don't. Maybe I don't know. Granted, it's not done perfect. I'm not arguing that it's done perfect, but it's also not like intrusive. Identity politics ruins everything. What's worse is there are losers who think you can only draw inspiration from someone who looks like them, plays with the same genitals. Okay, that's clearly not the case in this show, or with this show. But and there's a difference between only being able to identify or be inspired by people that look like you, and by you just wanting people that look like you to be represented in media. Because you exist, it would be nice to see so that you exist in media, especially again fantasy media, where you can create whatever world you want. And like you said, Young Justice has never really struggled with identity or with diversity. Um, it's had well written female characters. It's had well written black characters. It's had well written characters that have explored sexuality before. Not Young Justice, but like DC in general. Um, so that's. I also want to. I don't have another video specifically pulled up, but I want us to take a look at potentially some other season 4 videos and see what they think. I'm looking for clickbait titles, guys. I'm looking for. I am looking for this. This video is great. Brown Table's like really stupid. He's really stupid. Uh, these are all just scenes. This guy was overreacting. Pride Month is crazy. What the fuck? Lagoon Boy. Lagoon Boy's poly relationship was not forced, in my opinion, because it was literally just shown in the episodes of No One Brain. And that's another thing. There's a difference between something being pushed and you just noticing something. Hey, shout out me. Click through rate going down because I'm not clicking on it. Let me see. Alright. Analysis. Anal issus, as I call it. Is Young Justice Loward? Alright, let's look at what Loward said about the first part of the season. Actually, at this point, I want to go back and let's talk about season 3. Let's talk about season 3. Because a lot of people, Comic Storian did drop a video on season 3. Man. A lot of people did not like season 3, like, at all. And that baffles me. We're gonna look at Comic Storian's video on it. Actually, hold on. Before we do reactions and stuff, I have to figure out the audio situation. I'll do that for the next stream. My birthday is Tuesday. Is it cool if you stand up and turn your... Julian, no. I hate you. Jesus Christ. Let me see how many people are here. I have not... I can't defend season... I don't... Let's talk about it. What is so bad about season 3? We already addressed... Well, not we, but like I was talking about earlier how, if anything, it's more consistent than season 2. It jumps around less. It has plot lines like throughout the entire season that, you know, stay consistently developed and led up to. What's it called? I like season 4 better than season 3. I mean, look, I'm not saying you can. Look, you can like whatever you like. If anything, do I like season 4 better than season 3? I don't know. Everything is bad. What is bad about season 3? Can someone please explain? Well, okay. I'll say this. It is definitely an adjustment to see our OG characters be in a more mentor environment. Forager gets entirely too much screen time for someone who does not matter. And you could argue that it's somewhat uncharacteristic for Dick Grayson to basically lie and manipulate everybody. But I would argue that that is him struggling with the Batman side of him and himself, like like actually being Dick Grayson, especially with all the stress that comes from him, like managing all those teams, basically. Season 3 had too many characters. No sooner than later on storyline got going, it was dropped. Not as bad as season 4 though. I agree with the too many characters. It tried to juggle too much. I don't like splitting the teams because then you have an excuse to just not develop characters on the outsiders, which they've clearly done. For me, it was just overwhelming amount of characters, unresolved arcs, and unimportant characters getting big moments. I can see that because that's basically my, aside from the overwhelming amount of characters, that's basically my gripes with season 4. I just think in season 3 those unimportant characters are developed better. That's the only difference. I think Brion's developed better than Zatanna. But season 3 to season 4. I think that Black Lightning was developed more than Rocket, season 3 to season 4. And I agree, those two characters are largely unimportant. Beast Boy should not be as important as he is, but he is the best character in the show since its comeback, and it's because of season 3, and in like the first arc of season 4. I'm not even sure the Japanese girl's name. She was interesting. I forgot who you're talking about, but I'm picturing her head. We had to focus on new characters that I don't like at all. You don't like Brion? Brion's great. Like, you can not like Halo. You can think that Halo's too ham-fisted. Fine. I don't like Forager. Brion is great. He fits in great. Season 4 at least had the Lord Zod stuff building up since the Mars arc. They planted the seed in the Mars arc and then didn't talk about him for like double-digit episodes, and then he became relevant again after in season 4 part 2. Grayson was about a long-term lie. Huh? Remember? I disagree. Grayson was I wish we could have seen Karen and Mal joining the team. Yeah, it has to do with the overinflation of characters. They don't have time to show things like that. Rocket didn't even have the time to develop. I mean, her only thing was basically just seeing the struggles that her son go through, but in somebody else. That was her whole thing. Season 2, what Blue Beetle? Yeah, Blue Beetle should. And season 3 had a lot of the same. Season 3, by introducing Brion, Halo, and Forager, it expanded the cast even more, which we can all agree at this point is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. But I think it is acceptable as long as you develop the characters that you do introduce within an allotted time, and you don't just kick out everyone else. They didn't kick out the original 6. Instead, they just became mentors, and we still got to focus on Miss Martian and Superboy's relationship. We still got to focus on Artemis's grieving. We still got to focus on Nightwing's, like, Dick Grayson's just, I guess, learning how to balance being a superhero. We've developed more than Rocket, bro. We had static talk with him about the situation with the evil A doctor. I'm assuming you're talking Granny? Black Lightning is a great character in season 3. If you're trying to ensue otherwise, I just disagree entirely. His entire thing was that, like, the trauma that he underwent by killing what he didn't think was a human girl, but it turned out to be a human girl, and living with the fact that he killed with his own powers. Rejecting, like, he basically went through the beginning stages of, like, the hero's journey, rejecting the call to action, messing up your own abilities being taken away as a result of your own inner conflict and your own inner feelings and everything, and then regaining that in stride, and even without his powers, doing everything in his power to make up for that by solving the metahuman trafficking thing with the outsiders. And then even when the manipulation and everything came out and corruption happened and everything within the team and the outsiders and everything with Nightwing and Batman Inc. happening behind the scenes, he was the first one to speak up and be like, this is fucked, fuck y'all, we deserve better. And they were like, you know what, you do. And for his reward, his character got rewarded by Pull Spider-Man 2. Exactly. His character was rewarded by like being the leader of the Justice League. I like Black Whiting, but the way it was so underwhelming and how they skipped over his dynamic. Yeah, they definitely skipped over his dynamic with stat. Oh my god. Ah, my fault. They skipped over his dynamic with Static. And in turn focused on like pairing him with the characters that we were already familiar with Nightwing and them. With the covert ops, and again, that has to do with introducing new characters that shouldn't be explored or that important in the story. Um, and that's I'm not saying that season 3 is perfect. I think it's about the same in quality, if not maybe a little bit worse than season 4. Excuse me. Excuse me. I went to see Titans original anime series before the originals before. Wait, I want to see Titans animated series, but the originals before Perez's run. I haven't seen anything. I haven't read anything from before Perez's one. Black Lightning was one of the most grand. I agree. I like Black Lightning, but the way, yeah, okay. See me, Black Lightning. You're right. They didn't really do anything wrong, Batman and Co. But it was the lack of, excuse me. It was the lack of transparency when you're dealing with children, like manipulating children into thinking that they're really doing something for real. When you're dealing with something on the level of like metahuman trafficking, you have to be transparent. When you're managing that many teams and having people that really think that they're achieving something, like Beast Boy and the Outsiders, and it turns out that you're just controlling everything from the behind the scenes on an emotional level, and that's what kept everything grounded. That's what Windsor was talking about. Black Lightning is the grounded part of season 3. He keeps everyone in check. He keeps everyone remembering, okay, we're doing this for the lives that are lost. We're doing this for the people that are affected, because I won't say that he lost track of that, because he definitely didn't, but the spawn of his character and the spawn of his arc is basically was helping to save Kip. Yeah, and basically was what he was dealing with throughout the entire season. But him killing the girl, him killing the, oh my god, the metahuman that turned out to be the Earth Child in episode 1, that was the cause of all that. And granted, they weren't tripping, and Batman has never been the most transparent person or character or whatever. But yeah, his character's good. His character's good in season 3. I saw someone say something about the original 5. I think Yusuf had said it, but he deleted it, or maybe Brazy said it. And well, basically, it's like the Teen Titan anime series, but 5 original members. Oh yeah, it's just with the main 5. Well, yeah, I know that's who starts it, but like, do they have any like standout arcs or anything? I wonder why they decided to make Roy have a clone. Melodrama, and to have the a conclusion to the Traitor arc, Traitor storyline that was happening in season 1. Of like there was a rat or a mouse or however whatever the saying is. I think we will see fewer anime series due to the cost. You notice Netflix is already started cutting animation, especially with the Discovery takeover and high animation costs. Animation is definitely being priced higher because people are realizing that it is something that people want to see. But if anything, I think we will see more. And this is kind of set up for a video that I have planned in a while. We have seen a rise in not only the respect for animation throughout the 2010s and even now, but we're seeing a rise in like animated masterpieces, like truly like just cross-generational, cross-media, cross-medium, like masterpieces. Between Arcane, between Spider-Verse, between people going back to recognize the greatness of Teen Titans and Avatar, Rick and Morty, like setting the standard for like adult animation and what to expect out of that. Invincible, showing what like how to handle like how to actually write good written gore in animation. Arcane basically like popularizing like what it like, not popularizing but showing what it takes to write a good woke show, and also like it has so many examples of like non-verbal storytelling. I think people, if anything, are starting to realize the heights that you can hit with animation, and we might start seeing more of them. Now with Netflix specifically, yeah, they cut bone, which sucks. They're spending $30 million per episode on Stranger Things, which sucks, and then they're just losing money in general. But that's another reason. And what am I saying? Good written gore, but you can't write a good written love interest. I don't know if the love story in Invincible is bad, but like she's just an uninteresting character and she's meant to be hated. But I don't know. I think we will see a rise in animation. Oh, what was I saying? MatPat dropped an amazing video on why Netflix is truly failing. So check out that video by Film Theory if you haven't already. He basically talks about it's not necessarily that Netflix is canceling the shows that people love. It's not even that Netflix isn't producing shows or is losing too much of their library. There's another thing. Watch the video to find out what the other thing is. Let me see. Let me read all this. Well, all of them are Silver Ages and outdated. However, Teen Titans Year 1 is a great way to get an understanding of the team. Also, Titans. Yeah, I've read Titans Hunt, which I know has a lot of callbacks to pre-Perez, which is why I was confused on some of it, especially with like Garth and everything. But yeah, I've basically read all of Titans Rebirth. Another thing I didn't like about season 3 was how Beast Boy's outside team was pushed heavily in the second half, despite the team being Halo, Brion, and Forager. That has to do with splitting the team. That has to do with splitting the team into the outsiders, and that's for the sake of Beast Boy's development. I don't know why they do that, because it's not like they even focus on developing Cassie and Bart and Blue Beetle in the second half anyway. It's like they focus on the outsiders team without focusing on the outsiders individually. I didn't finish season 3 because I heard season 4 wasn't coming anytime soon. Oh, of Dragon Prince. I've never seen that. Good writing, go. Yeah, people gonna hate me, but I think Steven Universe has better writing characters than Arcane. It may. Haven't finished Steven Universe. I just hear that it's like amazing and does wokeness great for kids as well. There are a lot of great anime shows like Castlevania, for example, that as well. Maybe, but Stranger Things brings subscribers. They can import excellent animation for cheap, that as well. That's true. Still wondering why they race swap Amber and make her more unlikable. In the comic, she's white. I mean, the show, if I'm remembering Invincible correctly, aside from Amber, there is a lack of non-paleness. Unless I'm tripping, if someone can correct me on that. I don't. If her race doesn't matter in the comics, then there shouldn't really be a problem with race swapping her. I mean, making her unlikable. I don't know why they do that, but okay, yeah, Amber Yeah, she's just unlikable. She's just unlikable, which making unlikable characters unlikable on purpose is hit or miss, because you could either have something like uh what's a character that everyone hates but everyone loves that they hate him? Um I forgot. But you either have that or you have The Last of Us Part 2. So they have a nice love story. However, I think people would suddenly hate Adam Eve with her arguments with Mark if they were being fully faithful to the comic. I should probably read the comic, because like when I was getting into comics as a kid, like I always heard about um Invincible. I always heard about the boys. I always heard about Archie's Weird Mysteries, if anyone knows that. I always heard, the only thing that I read from Milestone was Static. I didn't read anything else. Shout out McDuffie. Um but I always told myself, it's like, what? Why would I watch these like third string I mean, not watch, read these third string comics? Oh my god, why would I do that? And now here I am in 2022 when two of the biggest ones have like their own adaptations, or there's some of the best superhero adaptations like ever. Um, Netflix has great animated shows. They should keep working on them instead of the stupid teen movies. Facts. Kissing booths should be abolished. Um, she's more likable. Wait, is she really more unlikable? Because I heard comic Amber. Oh, she never did that. Well, there we go, folks. This has been a great stream. I really side note, I don't know when I'm ending this, but I do really want to appreciate y'all for coming through. I think we've talked about just about everything for Young Justice. I know how y'all feel. Of course, when it comes to the religious undertones and everything, that it sounds like that wasn't handled too well. People are really hit or miss, really hit or miss. On Halo, I understand why, completely understand why. And it sounds like the show could go anywhere. It just depends on consistency. It depends on staying consistent. It depends on developing the characters that we already have. And I do hope that in the future, Young Justice like gets back to that conversation of the other animated works that we're talking about. We're talking about The Boys. We're talking about what is it called? What is it called? Invincible. We're talking about Arcane. We're talking about there are people whose whole entire channels are dedicated towards analyzing Avatar and Teen Titans. These are animated works that will go down in history as some of the best ever. Half of them are superhero, half of them are just like other shit. And it's amazing. It's amazing. In a month or two, I'm actually gonna be dropping a 2-part series on the rise of animated masterpieces, which is why I want to talk. I'm glad that it came up. I do hope that Young Justice enters that conversation again, because at one point I believe it did. But you know, as we saw today, that's not necessarily the case. I really need to fix my streaming setup to where y'all don't hear an echo every time I try to react to something. I think I should just download the videos and then just play them. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do with this comic story video while I continue to read chat. And we'll watch this, and then I think this will be the last thing that we do today. I hope the show doesn't do that lame ass black. Oh, y'all talking about the comics. Y'all are nerds. Y'all are nerds. Y'all talking about the comics. Hopefully this doesn't slow down stream. Oh, it is slowing down stream.
25.
Hold on, guys. I know the frame is dropping. Bear with me. Bear with me. Uh-oh. Oh my god. It is probably horrible. We're almost there. We're almost there. It's almost downloaded, guys. I should have done this before. Will you upload more videos about Young Justice Season 4 in the future? Let me wait till we're in the blue. Are we in the clear? Are we in the clear? I don't think we're in the clear. I think we're back. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? I know. I think it was buffering before. Let me know if I think I'm clear now. I should be in the clear now. Will I upload? Excuse me. More videos about season 4 Young Justice in the future. Not about season 4 specifically. I might look at different aspects of the show in general. I'm releasing a video in a minute. Sadly, it won't be for Juneteenth, but within the next like month or so, on racism in animation and how that's been handled. All right, we're in the clear. What's it called? I hope I didn't lose anybody throughout that. Oh, I did. I definitely did. Nevertheless, but Young Justice will be a part of that video. It'll be an aspect of it, similar to how when I talked about sidekicks in anime, I mentioned Young Justice. It'll be similar to that. So different aspects of Young Justice, not season 4 specifically. But yeah, Young Justice will always be a part of this channel. I'm clearly passionate about it, whether that be the current or the past of it. It's one of my favorite pieces of media ever. I'm not gonna lie to you. What was the other question? How do you feel about battle debates, battle feats? What's that? I don't know what that is. Is that are you adding a YouTuber? Yeah, Homelander is clearly a bad person. It was written to who turns out like yeah, y'all are really getting in deep to this boys talk. This boys talk. This is the boys talk. Excuse me. All right, the video is downloaded. Let me. Oops. Hold on. Let me add. All right. Hopefully. Window capture. Which hero team of Marvel Universe would you like to? Young Avengers. Easily. Young Avengers are champions, actually, because I'm in the minority of people that actually likes the Champions comic. Is it SJW? Kind of. Does it end stupid? Well, not end stupidly, but does it go stupid with basically just a rehash of the superhero registration thing? Yeah, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't know. I really like Champions. Like for some reason, I really do like Champions. All right, it didn't work with window capture. It'll probably work with media source.
Meanwhile,
Oh. Okay. me, I would love to have Champions get adapted. Champions is gonna get adapted eventually. Well, Young Avengers is gonna get adapted eventually. Battle feats are what characters did from their abilities, or what characters did from their abilities, intelligent or powers, rather if it came rather if it from fighting something or somewhere. Oh, okay. So you're just saying like the feats that they've done. Okay. Let me go back to the actual question. Specific to Young Justice, or just like I'm trying to figure out what you mean. Maybe I might just be stupid. Can you explain why you like Champions? I like Miss Marvel, and it's basically just Miss Marvel and friends. So it's simple, you know. But I like that. I think the romance between her and Miles is like adequate, you know. It's not done like oops. I'm trying to do this without. I'm trying to set this up. It's muted right now. That's on purpose, guys. Wouldn't that's the question. What do you think of the MCU's recent movies? Recent movies? I'm in the minority that like thinks Black Widow is actually a good movie. Um, aside from that, we know the not the ultimate. What are they called? The fucking celestials, some whatever the fuck Eternals. The Eternals is ass. It's just bland. It's just so bland. And Doctor Strange is an 8 out of 10. Above average Marvel movie. Is that all the movies that come out over the past 2 years? Yeah, yeah, that's really it. I think I don't know. I think it's cool. I haven't seen anything quite yet that is like super building up to like the next phase, outside of what happened to Doctor Strange, of course. Um, but yeah, I mean it's Marvel. They'll put together something. Uh, they'll introduce whether it be the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. They mentioned we're gonna get Secret Wars, and coming out of Secret Wars, it should be Secret Wars 2015, and coming out of Secret Wars 2015, we should get Hydra Cap. And if we don't, I will protest, and that is factual. Um, let's watch this video real quick.
Samurai, Apache Chief, El Dorado. Together they form the world's greatest force, dedicated to truth, peace, and justice for all mankind. These are the Super Friends.
Okay, now did you notice something in that intro? Yeah, there was Apache from season 2, but we also had El Dorado. Now, did you see the guy in the yellow cape, the Mexican superhero that was in the Super Friends? Okay, so that is a character that was actually in this particular season. That was Eduardo. Eduardo, the character who in the middle of the season had...
Oh, Spider-Man 2. Sorry. I forgot about the Spider-Man movie that came out. No Way Home. No Way Home was cool. It was cool. But I think I agree with who just dropped that video. Brown Table just dropped a video on Marvel falling into the fan service and cameos wave. Granted, that is going to happen a lot because there's a lot for them to set up. They have to do cameos. They have to set things up because you're getting into the greater Marvel universe, and that gets confusing. Well, not confusing. It gets convoluted, not necessarily confusing. We're gonna watch the Captain. No, uh, I'm sorry. I need a good Fantastic Four movie, please God. They better just adapt Hickman. Like after, leading up to Secret War. Okay, so what you do is to introduce the Fantastic Four, adapt Hickman's for Fantastic Four. And you just introduce everything Hickman until not Secret Empire, until Secret. Oh my God, until Secret Wars. Um, you introduce them with Hickman's Fantastic Four. You make a Illuminati movie, and that's basically just New Avengers. You do Hickman's Avengers, and you go into Secret Wars. Coming out of Secret Wars, the world resets. Hydra Cap, and you do 2 movies of Secret Empire. Spider-Man was cool. Spider-Man was cool. People keep saying King the Conqueror is coming out. Personally, I don't see it. I mean, he got set up a little bit in what's it called? Loki. Set up a little bit in Loki. I they'll have to do him for secret. I mean, not secret for Young Avengers, because that's just Aqua. I mean, not Aqua. What am I talking about? Iron Lad. So they have to develop him a little bit. They have to show him a little bit. Just properly adapt the X-Men and I'll be good. True. The X-Men should be as seen as being here all along, while mutants became more common after the blip. I don't know. I'd have to look at the current state of the MCU society to see. Is he gonna mention how Melvin and Wendy were also in Young Justice? Who, me? I don't know who that is. I don't remember who that is. I don't. Am I tripping for misremembering them? Did you watch the first episode of Miss Marvel? No, but I probably should, because I'm watching Obi-Wan and I'm watching The Boys, of course. I'm watching those 2 shows weekly while also like watching other things to prep for videos. So I haven't gotten around to it, but I heard that was better than expected. So I may watch it. They're saving King the Conqueror. They have to. Alright, bet. Let's get back to the video. I just want to see what he says about season 3, because I don't remember his criticisms of season 3. If it basically just comes down to what y'all were saying, if Ironheart takes Iron Lad's place, I'm gonna scream, because I hate Ironheart. Anywho, that came out of nowhere, but yeah.
Showed up and basically had a problem with his parents, and he has the ability to teleport, and he was on the not full team but the other team, and the other problem and things like that. They're pulling characters from the Super Friends. To make this more interesting, those characters were also created for the Super Friends. So my question is, why? Why are they there? Why is this season about characters that I don't care about? Now, that's not to say that other people can't care about those characters. Some of those people can care about Geoforce and Forager and Halo. They had kind of cool storylines and stuff along those lines. I'm not saying that they were bad. But why is Young Justice about those characters? That is my problem with Young Justice. Let's
Okay. Based off the intro, we're not even 2 minutes in. Melvin and Wendy were the 2 human sidekicks and Super Friends, 2 classmates. True. Oh my God, I remember. Yeah, season 2. They were at the high school. Yeah. Oh my God. You're spitting. I understand what Benny's saying. It's my problem with season 4. I don't personally like. It's young. The show started off with them creating 2 entirely new characters. They basically created Miss Martian. They basically created Aqualad, and they definitely created Artemis. Um, so when it comes to like making irrelevant characters relevant, I disagree with that because that's all Young Justice is really about. Granted, you introduce those three with three like very established characters in Superboy, Wally, and Dick Grayson, and then Roy Harper if you count Roy. Um, but even those characters, like they didn't even do the storylines that like those characters are known for. Like they didn't do Crisis on Infinite Earths. They didn't do Flash Rebirth, Flashpoint. Um, they didn't do uh Nightwing Year One. They didn't do what's the other? They didn't do the Court of Out. So like when if you're arguing, and he's not really arguing that, but for the basis of saying something, if you're gonna argue that okay, you're having characters that are pretty irrelevant do relevant things, even the characters that are relevant, they're doing things that like aren't the biggest of deals. So when it comes to that, introducing those characters while still having them serve as basically sidekicks or having them be mentored. Well, I'm not saying new, but I'm like Miss Martian. Miss Martian wasn't okay outside of Teen Titans 2006, not the show, the comic run, 2003 to 2006, and she was only in like 5 chapters of that, 5 issues of that. They didn't do the Roy Harper drug storyline, so these are characters that are. Artemis only by name was a character before. Green Arrow Artemis was an original character to the show. So like, this is all new storylines. And Young Justice is all about taking either new characters or previously like characters that did other shit and putting them in new situations. So, if in that case, I fucked with that part of season 3. Granted, it did take a lot of it did take a lot, not a lot, but it took focus away from the OG6, and it even took focus away from developing Bart, developing Cassie, developing Tim, developing Blue Beetle further, developing Eduardo. I mean, because they didn't really develop Eduardo. They just used Eduardo as a vehicle to introduce more things with metahumans. But
Reel this back a little bit. DC Animated Universe has some incredible shows. Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League the Animated Series, seasons 1 and 2, Teen Titans, first 5 seasons. Why are they incredible? They followed a single team of superheroes that allowed us to get to know them. We got to see their characters develop. We got to see what they loved, what they hated, how they worked together, and stuff along those lines. Young Justice is kind of all over the place. So I don't like Justice League Unlimited as much as I like Justice League, and that's how I feel about Young Justice Season 3. Justice League Unlimited, for those of you guys who don't know, is after the first 2 seasons of Justice League, in which we followed a core 7 superheroes. The Justice League themselves expanded outwards. The plot went in a direction where they needed to have more superheroes on the Justice League. They moved into the Watchtower, which was high above the planet, and they worked with this entire team to get their job done. That led us to individual episodes about Green Arrow, Black Canary, but the actual character of Artemis.
Just skipping around type shit, because he's giving context. He's giving context, but we're all nerds here. We know the context.
As you know her, was created for Young Justice. Anyway, first season was great. Follow this team of superheroes as they were the sidekicks in the vision of our. That wasn't even season 1. Season 2. I don't like as much as season 1 because season 2 took that team of characters and moved them away. We were now following Bart. We were now following Blue Beetle. We were now following Apache. All these different characters. And while some of them were interesting, like Static Shock and Blue Beetle, some of them weren't, like Apache. Okay? Like why? Why was he in this season? But whatever. Season 1 and 2 is pretty much agreed upon.
And that's where he, like Ricardo. How do you say your name? It is Ricardo. Richardo. You know, the H is throwing me off. I don't know why it's throwing me off. The stream is still going. Okay, bet. He's basically just saying that he doesn't want the cast to expand. That's basically what he's getting at. Which that just doesn't make sense because, like I was saying earlier, in season 3 you can make the argument that like 5 out of the original 6, their arcs are done. The real question is, does Cardiac plan on getting a nah. The only thing I would get a tattoo of is nothing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think look, this is getting philosophical. I don't think you like anything permanently, so for that reason I wouldn't get anything permanently changed about me. And a tattoo is, does that. Yes, you can get tattoo removals. I understand that, but that a lot of that still leaves scar residue and tissue shit. So you don't think that's what he's saying? Okay. Cause he said it sounds like he's saying because they took attention away from the core group of characters to other characters. He's looking at it as if it weren't a superhero show, but there are other more characters in the universe that yeah. Because he highlighted shows like a Teen Titans, which is set in its own separate universe where they only the reason why they only focus on those 5 characters is because number 1, the rights for Batman and Superman were already being used with their respective animated series. Which is also why Batman doesn't get name dropped in the entire show. There's only one innuendo to him. So it's in its own sandbox for the most part. I think he's saying, as a viewer, you need a character to relate to. So basically, Young Justice has a perfectly seasoned steak and added a bucket of salt. I can see that, but but here's the thing, and that comes with the question of the time skip, because the time skip is 5 years. So if you're gonna time skip 5 years, and even Teen Titans expanded, but no one really cared about East and West aside from Minos and Minos. What was I saying? If you're gonna time skip 5 years, things have to change, right? So for that reason, you introduce new characters like Beast Boy, like Lagoon Boy, like Tim Drake, uh, because you aged up these guys, so now you have to put them in a new role. You have to show growth. The easiest way to show growth is to put characters from role A to role B. For the OG6, it was um moving them from like the main characters that they were learning about growth and accepting themselves to who they were and trusting each other to like open up to each other, to being more of mentors, to being more responsible, to dealing with bigger issues, which and even season 2, the main conflict of season 2, which is really why I don't understand why he has a problem with season 2. The main conflict of season 2 is Artemis's fake out death, Cowder switching sides, and all. That's the main thing of season 2. The only episode that's really about the new generation is episode 1, when Lagoon Boy, Tim Drake, and Blue Beetle basically do the same thing that the OG characters did. The comment went away. Dang. They kept adding more and more and more characters. The characters become less and less defined. For instance, what was the Japanese girl? I'm trying to remember just with you, JK. Oh, like I really don't remember her name. But I do agree, and like we said earlier, the main downfall of this show is the cast is entirely too big. Cast is entirely too big. They can't you can't develop that many characters. Um, yeah, he might be talking about it. Might be Jade. I think yeah, but even Jade is developed in season two. Not really developed. She's characterized. She doesn't develop. Bumblebee, Speedy, and Aqualad were likable, but the twins were just useless since Kid Flash was around. So what was Tim? Tim's and that's the thing. He was a background character because season two was still focused on the OG6. It was just they were in a new role. Oh, the kid with the runaways. Let me see. Young Justice. Yeah, because then she goes to the shelter. Well, not the shelter, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's Ty, Jaime, Eduardo. Are y'all talking about Sam? Asami? Sam? The girl that they were like experimenting on? I think that's it. But let's get back to the video real quick.
And the fan base of the DC animated universe that we enjoy them and across the board. And while I know a lot of people that agree with me that season 1 is better than season 2, neither of them was terrible because in season 2 we still got Nightwing and we still got the characters training and we still got them showing up and they were doing things. We got to see Superboy being Superboy and we got to see Robin being Nightwing and we got to see Wally and Barry and Impulse doing their thing. It was great. We all enjoyed it. But then we took a 7-year hiatus. Now, if I told you that we're going to have a DC television show featuring the Justice League and the younger cast known as the Young Justice, you're going to picture in your head that we're going to get the Young Justice team. So we're going to see a ton of Nightwing. We're going to see a ton of Artemis. We're going to see a ton of Superboy.
That's not true. Even in the Young Justice comic book, when they added characters, like granted, the main focus was still on Tim Drake learning to be a hero, learning to be a leader, in place of Nightwing. Nightwing coming through and basically checking on them, the Outsiders, and the Teen Titans. Well, at that time it was just the Titans. But if you're gonna mention the Young Justice comic, then I mean it was never about a core group of characters. It was about young heroes learning to be heroes. Now it just so happened that DC had 30, 40 years of sidekicks to use. That they had a new Wonder Girl in Cassie Sandsmark. They had Connor Kent. They had new Tim Drake Robin. They had Nightwing, who could basically be the father to all that. They wanted Cyborg to be a Teen Titan. Now they had Raven. They had Beast Boy. That's a big ass roster that I just said, and that's not even including when they introduced Static, when they introduced Miss Martian for two issues. So even the original Young Justice comic was never just about a core group of people, unless you just want to say Cassie Sandsmark and Tim. Cassie Sandsmark, Tim, and Starfire. If anyone, that's the main protagonists of 2003 Young Justice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even in the comics, it wasn't really about a core group of people. In the if y'all have read the Young Justice comic book, if y'all have read the Young Justice comic book, that roster also expands. Unless I'm tripping. Maybe I'm thinking of Teen Titans 2003. I might be thinking of Teen Titans 2003. Hold on. It was about Tim Drake learning how to be a leader. This is talking about the show. Damn it. Comic Vine. Here we go. Because then they introduced Hex. Jenny Hex. Then they introduced Spoiler. I might be thinking of Team Titans. Yeah, none of, and that's another thing. No one cares about the Young Justice comic book unless you're talking about the final issue, which was Graduation Day. And the only reason why people cared about that was because it killed off Superboy. Well, it didn't kill off Superboy. Wait, am I remember? Actually, it brought back. I gotta reread that comic. But it was basically the end of both teams, and it killed off half the roster so they could all come back in the Teen Titans. And it was a crossover between Young Justice and the Outsiders. Young Justice, the Outsiders, and Teen Titans. Yeah, then Arrowette came. The date with Lobo. They went to Apocalypse, and they dealt with war. I forgot which war it was, but yeah, it wasn't a. It expanded, but it had a staple characters and stayed with other minus Arrowette. Yeah, and so does Young Justice. Now, granted, in the comic books, it's easier to transition characters and age them up because what happens is when you had Teen Titans, Dick Grayson and them got older, they became the Titans. What happened was this character got too raunchy, or like the people that were reading their comics were older, so they introduced them with the Outsiders. Killed off Donna. There we go. Both the teams all yeah. Superboy died in Crisis. My fault. Mid to late '90s and early 2000s comics, a lot of shit happens that confuses me that I need to reread. But I don't know. Benny's criticisms with a lot of things just kind of they interest me. Because, like, not all the time does it actually match up. Granted, y'all are right. They still have, like, a core roster or whatever. But the roster explodes. For all teams. For all young teams in DC, the roster explodes. For Young Justice, for Teen Titans, for the Outsiders, for the Runaways. Well, not for the Runaways. The Runaways it's a self-contained. But for those three teams, like, all three of those rosters... Remember when Tim Drake got edgy and became Red Robin after Bruce? Yeah. So, I don't know. But back to Benny.
We're going to see a Flash character for Impulse for this particular one. What you're not expecting to see is half of the season initially follows Geoforce, Forager, and Halo as their training.
Off topic, do you think Young Justice would introduce Titans? You mean grown-up Titans? Grown-up Titans, I do think though. I do think so. Especially with them, there's clearly a group of writers that want to focus on the older cast. Truthfully, I don't think that the Titans live-action show should be a thing. So theoretically, you would just have a separate animated show called Titans. That would basically be the continuation of Young Justice. But I don't know if you would rather do that or keep those guys under the Young Justice label. Okay, as a show, their team be called the Titans, and then the Outsiders basically becomes the young team with everybody on it. So like the way that I would do it is I would just have two different shows that would follow the two teams. The grown-up team would basically be the OGs, and then characters like Bart, because you need a speedster if you're not going to bring Wally back. Basically, everyone that was introduced in season 1 and season 2 would be on the Titans team. And then Beast Boy would lead the Outsiders, and the Outsiders would have Cassie, Tim Drake. That would the Outsiders team would have their own TV show, and it would basically follow the events of the Young Justice comic book. While the Young Justice show would basically be the Titans. DC's movie Teen Titans is pretty much that. True. The DC animated universe does a pretty good job with the Titans. I'm not gonna lie. Animated Titans live action Titans is ass. Yeah. Unpopular opinion, but Jason Todd was a good Robin. DC Comics just flanderized his character as always angry. And it was more than that. Yeah. Even when Damian is the best part of the DC animated universe, in my opinion. That's partially what my Sidekicks video was about, just like showing how those movies redeem Damian and kind of make him like an enjoyable character. To some, it still doesn't work for all. His character arc is a lot like what Brazy was saying about Jason. A lot of people just say that he's just a spoiled, angry guy. He has conflicts.
You're not expecting to see Nightwing pop up for cameos or to hear about the Justice League off-world. This isn't a terrible idea.
The Justice League were never the point of Young Justice. Nightwing is a main character in Season 3. He's leading the covert ops team. He recruits half of the people. The whole point is him halfway through manipulating everyone, getting teams intact, setting it up for them to do shit, him going back underground, not communicating with everyone, and manipulating everyone. That's the point. In the league were never a part of this. Aside from Red Tornado, who is basically just a babysitter. Shout out Red Tornado. OGs remember Red Tornado. It says we disconnected for a second. My fault if I dipped. But Red Tornado is the only person from the team that ever mattered. Batman a little bit in season 1. Superman in season 4, which granted this is about season 3. And then Black Canary with the therapy sessions. That's the only people that have ever mattered from the team. And then we get development from a team member in Black Lightning. So
idea to follow somebody else in the DC universe. But when you've been gone for 7 years and I hear a season 3 is coming, I want to watch the people that you are showing me in the first season. I want to watch the Young Justice team. That's what I want to watch. I don't want to watch random characters who barely exist in the DC comics. For those of you guys who don't know, Geoforce exists in the comics, and his story is pretty accurate to that. Forager has been a guy, a girl, and then a guy again, and is currently either being printed or going to be printed under the Young Justice label. And our final character, Halo, nothing like the character in the TV show. So you're trying to get me to follow 3 different characters. Now, I would understand this if there was a toy company behind this season like the previous seasons. They want to introduce more characters so that you'll want to...
He's bitter. Now, I understand a little bit because I have the same opinion. You take there was a 7-year hiatus. You have an obligation to give us, some of the things that we waited, right? And also, there was another time skip. There was a 2-year time skip between season 2 and season 3. So you have to show us how the characters grow. They did that. Season 1 starts with Nightwing. Season 3 ends with Nightwing. In the middle of season 3, all the events in the story are facilitated by Nightwing and the Bat family. Miss Martian and Beast Boy's relationship is developed. Artemis is grieving half the season. We even check in on Roy. We check in on Roy Harper. Roy Harper doesn't matter at this point in the story. Unless it has to do with Artemis' sister, Roy Harper and his clones don't matter. Let me read the comments. Who even cares about the new team with Halo and all those new annoying characters? I don't even bother their names. Even if you don't like them, the show has introduced them. They clearly care. They're giving them the writers at the very least. Which granted, we looked at how inefficient the writing room is for Young Justice now anyway. But if they're going to focus on these characters, I say give them their own space for a show. You know, so you're not splitting screen time, giving us inklings of what Beast Boy is going through, failing to develop Cassie for 2 seasons, and all that. And you can also still, you know, develop Halo and Eduardo and all of those guys. Superman was a deadbeat brother in season 1. Facts. He just did not care about Superboy. It feels like he wants the show to be the 2003 Titans cartoon, but he's ignoring how a big part of Young Justice is legacy and what those legacies represent. Exactly. And those legacies for DC go beyond the individual characters. The legacy continues. There's supposed to be more speedsters aside from just Bart and Wally and old dude. It's about giving these characters mentors and having them, like, teaching them what it means to be a hero that represents something bigger than just the emblem on their chest, the weapon in their hand, and the crime that they fight. That's what it's about. I'm bitter as well. Just give us Wally back. I agree. Y'all remember how people wanted Beast Boy and Raven to be together in the anime while they was literally in a relationship with the comic books or at the same time? Yes, 2005. Yes. I don't remember in 2000 because I was 2, but yeah, in the comics in 2005, 6, 7, that's about when in the comics Teen Titans had that relationship going. People were expecting Superman to be a daddy instead of a brother. That's why he was a deadbeat. True, but also, well, in the show, in the show, I mean, the whole point is that Superman was rejecting the responsibility of Connor existing. He just wanted to ignore the fact that Connor existed, and that's what his character acknowledged in this previous season, especially when Connor died. I don't know. The show seems to have rebounded a lot of plot point. Yeah, forgot about Barry. Yeah. Barry Allen. I said Barry. Did I not say Barry Allen? Look, I grew up without Barry Allen even existing, so I'm not gonna. I'm not the. I like Bart. He's a great character. I'm a massive Flash fan. I hope they would focus on more. Be clear. Yeah, the writers don't care about Cassie, Tim, Bart, and those guys. I don't know why though. I think I relate Barry's actual personality more than Wally. Yeah, Wally. Yeah, Wally's more entertaining. Barry, granted, I haven't read too many of Barry's comics because it's like pre-80s, or like mid-2000s, and by that time I was reading a lot of Marvel because Marvel just had more going on after Infinite Crisis. But which is why I haven't read. Well, I did read Blackest Night, but I just don't remember it. Oh, let me put the music back on. It's probably quiet as fuck, huh? My fault, guys. The thing is is that also what is leading to the decline in DC sales? DC used to compete with Marvel, and now Batman. Now it's Batman competing, and Aquaman falling out the top 200, Wonder Woman falling out the top. Yeah, and I don't even know what's happening with DC. Like, I usually even when I'm going through my stints where I don't read comics for like years, I'll still hear about, ooh, Civil War 2 is starting. Ooh, Joker War is starting. I haven't heard shit since like 2019. Granted, am I going out my way to watch Comic Storian? No. Or like go to a comic book store? No. But I haven't heard anything from DC since like 2019. And granted, there doesn't need to be a yearly like reset reboot, because that's why the New 52 was ass, and that's why like Right Out of Rebirth was ass. But to keep people like me interested, big things relatively need to happen. Dark Crisis is happening. I wonder what that is. Donna Troy wasn't even in the animated series. She was in the animated comic book adaptation. Oh, like whenever Robin interacted with Roy, Wally, and Garth in the 2003 cartoon because they're supposed to be. Yeah. But I don't even think they had the full rights to those characters. They didn't have the full rights to Garth, if I'm not mistaken. Justice League is dead. I hate any story that gives Dick Grayson Gotham as his city. Like, I hate that. Aside from Batman and Son. Or Batman and Robin, whatever the thing is when Grayson takes up the mantle. Peel may have problems with Marvel, but at least they don't constantly reboot their main universe every 5 or 6 years. True, but on the other hand, they just like rehash storylines. As a Champions reader, and then Civil War 2, which Ulysses sucks. God, Ulysses sucks. The Inhumans are just irrelevant, and they just need to stop trying to make them relevant. I'm not gonna lie. Can't strike lightning. Wait, can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. The Inhumans will never be the X-Men or the mutants. And Gates of Gotham. Yep. I've been streaming since 12:30. It is now 3:15. Heroes in Crisis over Civil War 2. Facts. And no cap, that's just off the premise, because Heroes in Crisis is like execution was kind of bad. Shout out Murder Mysteries. But I think I'm gonna wrap up here. We basically just roasted Benny for 20 minutes. I mess with Benny though. If you're watching this Comic Storian, half of all my comic knowledge comes from Ewing and Comics Explained. So I used to watch y'all podcasts, but I started getting into anime more, and y'all don't talk about anime. So when do the games start? I don't think there's a game today. I might be stupid, but if there's a game today, I'm gonna miss it. No cap, because I gotta edit for you guys. But Civil War 2, Civil War 2 had a lot of dumb moments, and they tried to prop up two characters that are largely irrelevant, Ulysses and Captain Marvel. So, yeah, what they did to Bruce, man. Granted, it was drawn amazing. The art for Civil War 2 is great. But Hydra Cap's better. Hydra Cap is better. Celtics in 5. That's crazy. I'm still rolling with Warriors in 6. I realized that last series in the Western Conference Finals, I changed up my pick from Suns to Mavs. Would love to see you doing Connect on anime, to be honest. Oh, content on it. Donna, check out the channel. I got a lot of content on anime. If y'all are looking for anime to get into, especially shonen, I'm the guy. And so hope y'all enjoy the rest of the channel, because I know a lot of y'all have come from the Young Justice video, which is why I wanted to do the stream. You know, it took a little bit over 2 hours, a little bit under 3 hours actually, for me to get out all my opinions on season 4. But I think we came to a conclusion. I hope that y'all enjoyed. Absolutely. But yeah, if y'all want to see more, I have a Dick Grayson video that is really good in my opinion, talking about why he's the most important character in the DC universe, and also one of the more relatable characters in all of comics. I have a Spider-Man video that does the same. I have a lot of anime videos that talks about relatability, the different series that are really popping right now, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Tokyo Revengers, My Hero Academia, Naruto, even some manga like 3 Days of Happiness. So if you want to get depressed, watch that video. That's it for me though. I hope that y'all enjoyed. I see we're still talking about. Yeah, Kamala is definitely a better character than Carol Danvers. What? But I am happy that Carol Danvers is more than just a wife now. But yeah, check out some of those other videos. When is Dick Grayson gonna say fuck John and create his own Justice League? I'm saying he just has all these junior ass teams that he's been making for years. Dick Grayson is the most important character in DC. Hope that y'all enjoyed. I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for coming out. Y'all have a good day. And peace. We will end. Oh, actually, let me go to my ending screen.